Yeah. And I do know this performer is an excellent storyteller. I'm not exactly sure what format she will be bringing us in tonight, but her name is Yodassa Williams, and she will be speaking about the Babysitters Club. Please welcome her to the stage.
The Babysitters Club Series, spanning hundreds of books, a TV show, and even a movie, was more than just entertainment for me when I was growing up as a young girl. They were my guidebooks on the quest of being the perfect girl. Written by Anne M. Martin, the Babysitters Club Series describes the lives of 7 friends between the ages of 11 and 13-year-old who live in a small town in Connecticut and create their own babysitter club service to run for the community. Each book dived into one character in specific and showed her dealing with a specific adversity or challenge for her life and personality. And I loved how each girl had her own unique personality and her unique passions, and how they used their true selves to solve the problems of the day. For example, Claudia was a creative, awesome girl, but she felt that she was isolated within her family because her older sister was a brainiac, and she was in fear that she was falling away in her parents' eyes as someone who they valued in their family. Stacy was a really bold and creative person too, but her eye was more for fashion, and she dealt with the struggles of dealing with diabetes at a young age and also divorced parents, which was really personal for me because my parents divorced when I was 5 years old. I love that their shared connection really came from their unflinching honesty and kindness for each other in their community. And I ate up these books, and they were emotional touchstones for me as I grew up. I was the youngest child of divorced parents, and my mother, as a single mother, was very hard on me and had very high expectations for my behavior. I remember thinking, my mother and father got divorced because he did something wrong. What if I do something wrong and my mother decides to divorce me too? So I had a lot of fear and terror about doing the wrong thing, or saying the wrong thing, or making the wrong example in the world for my mother. And I was very alone in my family. I didn't have a lot of friends in life, and I really just kind of shied into the corner and preferred to be invisible. I didn't really connect with other people, but I connected with books. And I love the Babysitters Club series because it gave me an example of something that I was interested in but didn't know how to create for my own life. That feeling of belonging to another greater outside person, a community, but also knowing who you are. Because each of those girls was themselves, but they belonged to the club and the larger community in a way that was powerful and shaped them to be better people. I didn't know how to do that for myself, but I wanted that. So I considered, if I could be a little bit like each of those characters and adopt a little bit of their personalities inside me, maybe I wouldn't feel in fear of who I was. Maybe I could walk confidently in the world, and maybe I wouldn't be so lonely. Maybe when things happen, I would know how to deal with them the right way, and I wouldn't feel like I was constantly drowning. So I set myself forth on that task, to be brave like Christy, to be creative like Claudia, to be earth conscious like Dawn, to try to combine all the best examples of the characteristics of the Babysitters Club and be that person. It was a very hard task. I did that throughout high school and college, still feeling like there was this Rolodex inside my head of each character and what personality should I patch into each opportunity that happened in my life. I remember this feeling very isolating, like no one else could understand how I'm trying this hard, but I was trying very hard. I remember the summer before my junior year in college, I applied and was selected to be an orientation leader at my university, The Ohio State University. And this was a big task for me because along with 18 other students, we were charged with the responsibility of introducing over 6,000 incoming freshmen to the university, to the alma mater, and to their future home. And I took it very seriously. I was so stressed out about what if someone met me and I was the reason that they changed schools or decided to not go to Ohio State or came home crying about how horrible orientation was. I wanted to be the right orientation leader and answer their questions the right way and be the perfect person. Again, didn't know how to do that. So I put myself on the task of trying to observe the characteristics of the other people in the group around me. And one of the orientation leaders was the most super extroverted person I've ever seen in my life. Still to this day, the most charismatic person. You just like feel him as he walks in the room. And his teams were so identifiable. They would just be like running across the campus. He would create their own like tagline, and they'd be running around with their tagline. They would have their own little games with each other. Like they just created a clique with him as the leader. And I was just so intimidated, like I can't do that. I'm not giving people that kind of time. So clearly I'm failing at this task of being an orientation leader. I remember midway through the summer talking with my advisor who had hired all of us that I was having this struggle with my groups and feeling like I was drawing blanks on how to really connect with them and make sure that they were enjoying themselves. And she said something to this day that has stuck with me. You were chosen for a unique reason, and we see you, and we want you. And I said, well, there's this orientation leader, and he's so good, and he's just like fire on the floor, and I'm just like water, like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And he's like, she was like, it is okay. If we wanted everyone to be like that, we would have chosen a team of that kind of personality. But we wanted a team that was full of different personalities to show people that this is a university for introverted people, for extroverted people, for people who love books, for people who love that. And you're an amazing person, and I see your value. And she referenced something that she saw in me during the interview. She said, you had made this face when someone during the group interview referenced something about a sailboat. And I remember that time, and I remember like being in the group interview trying to be professional and show the best self. But somebody said something to me that sounded really ridiculous, and I just kind of rolled my eyes and was like, and then I was like, no, being good. And I was like, you saw that, and you chose me because of that? She's like, yeah. I just thought you were so funny, and there's just like natural warmth to you, and you're just so real, and that's why we want you here. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that was something that I corrected myself in my head, like no, like Babysitters Club characters don't reflect their opinions on other people. And I was like, that was just me being me, and she wanted me to be me. And it took this opportunity of me being in this Babysitter Club-like experience, in this club of other people, seeing their personalities, for me to really absorb the true lesson of the Babysitters Club series, which is that you need to find and be your unique true self. And that is where you will find the value in belonging to a community and other people. So it's still a lesson that I'm trying to learn and do my best with this day and forward, but it's definitely something that I learned starting with the Babysitters Club. Thank you.
I really just want to go read some Babysitters Club books now, guys. Like, I like that. I could be an ad.
We should charge people for that performance. I mean, we did, but the Babysitters Club people.